Hello. So, almost a year ago, I think it was the second or the third that I posted the video. That's when I did the video that talked about the future of the channel, that said that I'm done with streaming and so on. And you guys have seen me do streams here and there on the second channel, and I'll continue to when her and I are able, and when I'm home, which is infrequent. But here I am a year later still talking about this project that I had started before that point. I do feel like this year it will come out, and I do still have the decision problem with, do I finish this project but then also do the second project, or the second set of episodes in the project, and go through all of that time and editing and do the videos and stuff so that I have them done as well. But that's a future decision. So first off, gotta thank sponsors of that channel that are still sticking around. I very much appreciate it. And again, all I have to do is look at the Google AdSense statements that come out every once in a while to know that when I want to start recording, that upgrading the equipment is not going to be cheap, but you guys are helping make that happen. So Rahul, if you're watching this, this was a little over a year ago, last November, in Israel. We went through a big long discussion as you were finishing up that other job, and you were I'll probably tap your expertise again. I'm very curious. We'll talk about the gear later, because that's going to come up in another discussion. So, big thing about Japan, and then we'll talk about Project Raider again later on. But just thank you, sponsors, because it's definitely going to be useful. So first, no, I'm not clickbaiting the title. Japan's up in the air at the moment. I'm pretty sure that it'll happen at some point, but first off, we need to convince a person in another department of the company that I am a good person to take over when they leave and do a lot of that workload that they have for training. And even back when I first went to Japan, going on 2 years ago, he had talked about how he didn't want to travel anymore and travel to train the classes. So that's where I'll come in. There's a class that starts on the on the 20th. They're wanting to fly people out, or they are flying people out starting on the 17th. So they would get there Saturday the 18th. So that would be a 2-week thing. I intend to bring Exis with me this time, which would be great. We can shoot some cosplay stuff while we're there, but also just explore. Definitely bring her to Akihabara, get her a lot of souvenirs. But we haven't, that person that we need to talk to is going to be in town next week. So is another person. So I did a little presentation yesterday to the other guy in the training department, the guy who's also very much interested in improving the training department, but who just kept getting pushback and being told no for years. The site lead here, so basically the equivalent of my boss down in Arizona, but here. So he's at my boss's level. Another guy that's kind of at my boss's level, because he's also a site lead here, but he's also a site lead for New Mexico, but at the same time he has more responsibility and reach than just a site lead. So in a way, he's kind of like a 1.5 levels up, and then 2 levels up boss. So that was who was in the room that I presented to. Did this big slideshow on what I want to do to the program. I'm not going to go into the training department. I'm going to remain in the maintenance department and actually be, hands-on, performing my job, because I feel that that's something that the company lacks. We only have trainers in the training department. We don't have anybody who is experienced. Those guys haven't actually worked the tool. I have. So a lot of little details and stuff that goes along with that is useful to have as a trainer, because you can pass that on. You can pass on experience and that tribal knowledge type stuff that really should get written down. So presentation went great. Everyone loved it. 2 levels up boss wants me to present again next week to 3 levels high boss when he gets here, because they're so on board with what I have presented that they want him to be involved in pitching me basically to training to get them to approve, because basically they're going to need to approve that department spending money on my travel, not just to teach the classes, because in reality they'd be paying for me to travel instead of him, so that's sort of not going to cost them any more money, but more additional resources for me to travel more than that to sites that are having problems, sites that have tools that I can do documentation on and stuff like that in order to build up this program, because it's necessary. So, work's going well, and Japan will be a part of that, and it'll be great, but it's I'm pretty happy that I have I identified something that a need that the company had that was frustrating me. I'm good at training, and it's something that I want to do. So that trifecta right there is something that I am very happy to have found at this in this job. So I've because right now I'm kind of just a floater. I mean, that's why I'm up here in Portland in a hotel room anyway, is I don't really have an assigned job right now. I'm kind of where they need me. Well, I've kind of found my job. So even if this next Japan class doesn't happen because they want to claim or whatever that it's too short notice, it's not, then maybe the next one would happen. So Japan is likely, but I haven't got a yes yet. So plenty of pictures and videos from there if I do. So to continue on for Project Raider. So the reason why I was thanking the sponsors again at the beginning, some of my downtime at work I spend doing a lot of typing. Things like, it took me an entire day to build that presentation, and I'll have things going on in the background, and I decided to go ahead and watch that Half-Life documentary from NoClip. And again, that was one that was in that video from a year back on the main channel, and it's just so good. It really is. And I want my stuff to look and sound that good. So I want the camera is she has a camera. She has a new camera for her cosplay, which I believe has functionality that mine doesn't. Mine one from years and years ago, and that includes recording live video into the computer. So camera's fine, but I don't know that the Yeti is good enough to do what I want it to do. I'm pretty sure it's capable as long as you are good with the post editing stuff, because I do see other YouTubers using it and their audio sounds fine. But to give a couple examples, I don't know what NoClip uses to do their mics. I don't know how Simon Whistler on any of his half dozen channels. It sounds that good with either one of those little clip-on mics or one that's off screen. The thing is, that's what I want. I want my recording to be, you can see me, you can see my shirt. Here's some Robo, by the way. Here's some Chrono Trigger for you guys. I want you to be able to see me from a decent distance away, but not the mic. I don't want the mic to be in the picture. So how do I get good voice sound, but the mic not even be close? The Yeti is great up close. It really is. But I don't know about the far away thing. So but I know that there are some mics out there that are really good at that sort of stuff. So that's what I'm going to be looking into. And it's kind of weird. He did a documentary, and so he shot it in that style, and yet at the same time it looks so good. I want to do that even if I'm not doing a documentary. So a lot of it has to do with how I decide to present Project Raider once I finally get it ready to go. And now we come to the crux, the problem that I have, the thing that I mentioned this morning in Discord. So the problem that I have at the moment is I had a realization just a few days ago. I was on the TV going through YouTube, and for the I don't know how many time, that's not English, but whatever, I saw a video, I saw a thumbnail that was of something that would interest me. I think this most recent time was a video on a speed running record that was beaten, that no one thought could be beaten, because it was one of those technical things where, like, there's no way to do it better, and then someone did it. And then the title made that even more clear, and I thought, okay, yeah, I want to watch this. And then I stopped because the video was 1 hour 3 minutes long. Just a few days before that, there was another one on, I think, the ruins at Baalbek, and I didn't want to watch a 52-minute video on that. I wanted it a little bit more bite size, and I realized, but wait, I'm trying to do that with these videos. When I originally started thinking about this series, way back, I thought that they would be these little 15 to 25 minute videos. And then when I just started typing, I mean, we can go back into the tweet history, but so quickly I realized, okay, there's a lot more meat to this. It's definitely not going to be one episode. Maybe it'll be a few. But then when I realized the scope of what I was trying to do, I realized, okay, these are going to be long ones. And I like long ones when I'm in the mood for them. So I thought, am I going to make these hour-long videos and then people not be interested? Because like me, it is so much easier to have the time to go ahead and click on a 15-minute video or a 10-minute video than it is to commit to something that's closer to the length of a movie. I don't want that. I'm not trying to get views to get ad revenue or anything like that. Again, I'm not trying to live off YouTube anymore. But I am wanting people to see the movies or to see the videos and to engage in discussion with me and talk about and learn about game design. So that's still important. So what do I do? So the nature of the videos, let me just pull up. No, come here. So the nature of the videos, I could break them down if I wanted. So for example, I have them broken down into 3 parts. Now, we know it's going to be 5 or 6, but I just decided to just let 3 keep going, and I'll redistribute everything later. Part 1 has 10 topics, including the intro. Part 2 has 17 topics. Part 3 so far has 12, but some of those are really meaty. One of them, let's see. There's a 6-page one, 5-page one. There's a 6-page one. Part 2. Let me see. Part 2 is a little bit more bite. It's down in more bite-sized stuff. But part 3 has some of that longer stuff. So part 3, the length of some of those things is long enough to be a 10 to 15 minute episode on its own. The problem is the way that I've structured this. When you talk about a game, a complicated game, it structures. It's a web. It's all so intertwined that I feel like I have to talk about them where I'm referencing all of these other things. It's a lot better for the viewer if I'm referencing something that I know they just heard about because it was in the video, even if it was a half hour back. If I make it all piecemeal, each video is going to be someone's first, and they're not going to know about something that I talked about. Now, even if I reference it, even if I link to it, even if I show a picture of the thumbnail somewhere, they still haven't heard it yet. And so trying to have this really in-depth discussion isn't going to land well. So you've got that problem of, do I get more people clicking onto the videos but being more lost and possibly less interested in the series as a whole because I have a shorter video, or do I keep these long videos? So, of course, there is no place to go and look this up. And some of you guys might be thinking, well, he's someone asking a question on the internet. Can you Google it? Not really. You can Google, should I do longer or shorter? But the problem is, there are so many factors involved that no one's going to be able to answer your question for you in some article. So there was one thing I was interested in, one thing that I knew I could find out independent of my project, my topic, anything like that, and that is, what is the trend in video length currently on YouTube? That I can look up, that I can get an answer on, and I did, and it seems like videos are starting to trend up. They gave a couple examples of this one chick she used to do 3.5 minute videos, now she's doing 8-minute videos on average. And they had a couple other examples, but it seems like videos are trending up, and part of it is because as YouTube tries to force more ads in front of people, if you're red, you don't see them. That's great. But if you're not red or premium, people start to become less interested in watching a 60-second, a 2-minute, a 3-minute video if they know every single video they click on is going to have an ad at the beginning, because that means that less of their time is actual viewing time. The longer videos, they may have ads in the middle, but they're still okay with that because that's less time searching for a new video, and so they'll still get more viewing time overall of whatever subject that they're interested in. So video time is trending up, and that's a good thing, but that doesn't mean that there's still that very basic problem of, in this age of increasing consumption, maybe people want shorter videos anyway, to a point. This trending upwards means that, sure, maybe I shouldn't be doing 1 or 2 or 3-minute videos, but that's not the question that I was asking. The question is, am I too far off the high end of what they want to watch? So that was kind of the thing I wanted to present. I'm not trying to increase ad revenue by considering doing those shorter videos. It's more of just getting people to watch in the first place. I myself, wanting to make long videos, can choose to not watch long videos, and I have multiple times. Access even remembers me actually vocalizing that. I don't remember, I was back home. I don't remember what the video was about, but I said, you know what? I'm interested in that, but I'm pretty sure I could get everything in 15 minutes. Now, the kind of discussion that I'm going to be doing, I can't condense like that. I can piecemeal it and make it a 30-part thing, but I can't condense everything down, not without losing the depth that I feel is important and is my aim of these videos. So it kind of sucks. I was so convinced that there was only one way to do this, and although I still feel like I should be doing these long videos, 5 or 6 1-hour videos, and at the end a supercut that puts them all together, it sucks knowing that there will still be negatives to doing it that way. So that's just something that's come up over the last few days. I don't feel like I can bring it down piecemeal. I just can't do it that way because people will be lost, and I don't want to do that. So but still typing. I just had that took me so long. There are a couple videos that I listened to that kind of give me ideas for this topic, and I do that when I'm driving or when I'm traveling, when I'm in a plane. And so a lot of the time I'll just pick up my phone and I will send a text message to myself with something to remember for later. And then when the next time I get to a computer, I will transcribe those and put them into the document as a note to then go back into whatever section applies and put that in later. I went about a month without actually doing the transcribing, and so I didn't realize I had so many notes. And so it took me probably an hour to transcribe everything, and then I have to go into at the beginning of the document I have the big note section, so I can go back and put everything into their appropriate places later and have that and actually integrate that into the discussion. It took me I don't know how long to actually go and do that as well, because I started to get so many notes that I had to stop for a second, create another document, and start to come up with a bit of a table of contents of the different sections, so that I can then go back up to the notes section, reorganize all those, because there were so many, into the table of contents order, and then bring all of those other notes in and slot them in where they're supposed to go. So that took a long time. So the notes themselves get included in the word count, and that I feel is okay. Sometimes the notes are going to be shorter once they get integrated. They're of a certain length to explain why or how I came to that decision to change something. But then when I go back and I integrate it into the section, it may not be as many words. Most of them, on the other hand, are going to increase. I made a note that was just enough words for me to remember later on the point I was trying to make, but usually it'll turn into another paragraph or two when I actually start to integrate it. So most of the notes are actually going to expand in size. So I don't mind including the word count of those notes, even though some will get shorter, some of them are going to get a lot longer, and a couple of them I've actually had to add entire sections into the script because I didn't have one before for that particular topic. If you have a new section, that new section isn't created specifically for that note. It's me realizing, wait, this is probably a topic I should have put a few thoughts of in the first place. Just start talking about that topic in this game, and bam, you've got paragraphs right there. I'll just remember to add that note to it as well. So at the moment, 54,734 words. Just over 300,000 characters with spaces, excluding spaces, is 249,000. Almost 250,000. 103 pages. That said, 103 pages. I have so many notes that the notes, yeah. So I have a bunch of notes to add things to the intro, a bunch of notes to add things to the conclusions, and then a big meaty chunk in the middle of notes to add things to those individual sections. The intro doesn't start because I do have an intro typed up. It's probably going to double in length, but at the same time, at the beginning of the first video, I'm going to put a timestamp really quickly up there saying, if you just want to skip the intro and get to the meat of it, here you go. But the reason why the intro needs to be so long is that since I'm doing something so different on YouTube, I want to make sure that people know what I'm going for before they watch, and so they're not just immediately trying to jump and harp on something, so they don't think that I'm criticizing something or saying this is what they should do in the future or something like that. I want to let them know that this is just an exercise in game design. I'm not trying to critique or review or anything like that. I don't want them to think I'm harping on something just so they harp. So that's why the intro is going to be pretty meaty. But currently, because I have page numbers of the different sections that I have to update from time to time, just so I know if I want to jump somewhere real quick to go there. Intro doesn't start till page 13. That means I have 12 and a half pages of notes already that need to get incorporated in. And again, those are going to expand. So that's a lot of stuff. So I'm on one of the last sections to talk about. There are going to be a couple sections past that, and then start to type out the conclusion and talk about the future of things, and that's gonna, those are both going to be the future of things first, and then the conclusion. Those are both going to be sizable. So I want to go ahead and finish that up, and then go back and incorporate all the notes and stuff like that as well. I have started recording, so that's good. That's useful. I need that. I need the game footage. So so it's moving along. That's where that's at. Waterboy I talked with him recently. We recorded a third chunk of We Talk Over that I have yet to actually make episodes out of. Problem is fucking OBS. I'm not even streaming in OBS. It's causing me problems. I hit record on Adobe for the mic. Adobe won't record video. You can edit video, but it won't record video. I have to use OBS for that. So I have to use, two programs to do this. So I record the video, the gameplay capture in OBS, and the audio from the mic in Adobe. I hit record on the mic in Adobe. Then I went up to show him something real quick by unmuting the mic in OBS and then muting it again. I didn't stop and then start the recording on the mic again in Adobe, or possibly exit out of the program entirely, open it back up and start recording. And even though when we first started, we would cut the video and audio at the end of each episode and then start back up again, I stopped doing that because I realized I didn't have to. So we just let the audio recording go on the whole time and the game recording go on the whole time. Because I clicked the mic thing in OBS, it tried to take control of the mic and fucked it all up. So none of our audio was recorded in Adobe. So we basically just wasted our time on that session. We still talked game design with each other. We were playing Destiny. And so, sure, we had a good time talking about that stuff, but I can't make episodes out of it because no audio. So maybe we'll do it again one day. Robbie wasn't able to be there, so we could try to get him involved as well. But, well. So, that's that. Different topic. Exis and I have been having fun over on Instagram. For her for cosplay and me for the car. We did another little photo shoot with the car, and we both put a post up a few days ago, and they did extremely well. The biggest post I ever had, where it was just a regular post, ended up getting 700 something likes. The biggest promoted post I had ever done ended up going over 1250. But this post, no promotion, on its own, I posted it the same day that she posted another one from the same shoot. It's at over 1,700 likes now, and I got a ton of followers out of it too. So that was really neat. But her, for anybody that's interested, her cosplay is Instagram is Exis_, and then for our car, for the Camaro, it's just Camaro GL1. Thankfully that was free. It wasn't free in Google when I tried to make the email account for it. Camaro.gl1 wasn't free. I don't know who picks that stuff. Who else is doing it? GL1 isn't even a model of Camaro. The ZL1 is. I call it GL1 because it's the Green Lantern Camaro. I don't know. Anyway, so that's the update from this is New Year's Eve, and I go in and I work 10 hours tomorrow. So yeah, I just decided I wanted to do a job vlog up here anyway, and hopefully I'll be able to do some from Japan as well. But that freaking revelation I had on how I myself want to watch short videos and don't want to watch long videos a lot of the time, that hit me. That I've been doing that forever, and it's not like I don't watch long videos. I absolutely do, but the fact that I do it at all got me thinking, am I making the right decision with what I'm doing with these videos in the future? So yeah, that's just something I wanted to share with you guys. So that's all. Good to see you guys. Come chat in Discord. We can talk about it. You guys can share what your viewing habits are like and so on. And yeah, see you guys there.